If your cookies are spreading too much in the oven like flat, greasy puddles instead of thick, chewy cookies, this video is for you. Because most of the time, it's not that the recipe is bad, it's one small thing that makes a huge difference. I'm going to walk you through the most common reasons cookies spread, and I'll show you real examples along the way. Same dough, one variable changed, so you can actually see what's happening. And at the end, I'll show you 2 easy ways to fix your cookies if you have found that they did spread too much after baking. So let's dig into it. Reason number 1, your butter was too warm. Butter is a solid fat at room temperature, but it melts very quickly once heat is applied. When butter goes into your dough already too warm, it starts melting almost immediately in the oven. That's a problem because cookies need a little time for their structure to set. The flour needs to absorb moisture, the eggs need to firm up, and the sugars need to start caramelizing. If the butter melts before all of that happens, the dough doesn't hold its shape. Instead, it just relaxes and spreads outward. And that's why you end up with big, flat cookies. When the butter is at the right temperature, a cool room temperature, it melts more slowly in the oven. That slower melt gives the cookie time to set around it, which helps the cookie hold its shape and bake up thicker instead of spreading into a puddle. What you want is butter that's at a cool room temperature, about 65 degrees. It should feel cool to the touch, not greasy or shiny, and there's no melted spots. You should be able to press your finger into it, but your finger shouldn't sink all the way through. Take a look at these cookies. This cookie was made with butter that was too warm. See how it spread wider and baked flatter? And this cookie was made with butter that was at a proper room temperature. Same dough, same bake, but it holds its shape and bakes up thicker. And when in doubt, it's always better to err on the side of colder rather than warmer. Slightly too cool is fixable, too warm usually isn't. But that brings me to reason number 2. Reason number 2, you didn't chill your cookie dough. Chilling cookie dough does a few things. It firms up the butter so it melts more slowly in the oven, which can help fix reason number 1. It also gives the flour time to fully hydrate, and it helps the cookies set before they have a chance to spread too far. Take a look at these cookies. This cookie was baked right away, and this one was baked after the dough was chilled for 24 hours. Same dough, same oven, totally different result. Even a short chill helps, 30 minutes, 1 hour. I love at least 2 hours, but if you want thicker cookies with better flavor, overnight chilling is hard to beat. Now, reason number 3, the type of sugars you use. Now let's talk about the sugar, because sugar melts and that can affect spread. Cookies with more white sugar tend to spread more, while brown sugar adds moisture, but also helps with chew and structure because of the molasses. Take a look at these cookies. This one leans more heavily on white sugar, and this one uses more brown sugar. Same dough, otherwise, but you can see how the sugar choice changes both the spread and the texture. Reason number 4, the flour measurement, and this one catches a lot of people. If you scoop flour straight from the bag, you might be using less flour than you think. Too little flour means not enough structure, which leads to excessive spreading. Take a look at these cookies. This batch was made with flour that was scooped, and this batch used flour that was spooned and leveled. Same recipe, very different spread. But for the best results without any guessing, use a kitchen scale and weigh your flour. Consistent flour measurement alone fixes a lot of cookie problems. Reason number 5, your oven. Let's talk about the oven because temperature and placement matter more than most people realize. If your oven temperature is too low, cookies have more time to spread before the structure sets. The butter melts, the dough relaxes, and by the time the heat kicks in, it's already too late. Take a look at these cookies, baked at different temperatures. This cookie was baked at 325, and you can see how much it spread because the dough had too much time to melt. This cookie was baked at 350, which is where most cookie recipes are designed to bake. It spreads, then sets at the right moment, giving you better structure. And this cookie was baked at 375. It sets faster, so there's less spread, but you'll notice it browns more quickly and can bake unevenly if you're not careful. And this is why oven temperature matters so much. Cookies need enough heat to set at the right time, not too slow, not too aggressive. Placement matters too. Take a look at these cookies, baked on different oven racks. The cookies baked too low spread more and browned unevenly on the bottom. The cookies baked too high baked faster on top and before the centers were fully set. The cookies baked on the center rack had the most even spread and texture. For most cookie recipes, the center rack is your best choice. Reason number 6, your cookie sheet. When it comes to your baking sheet, there are a few mistakes you can make. If you're placing cookie dough onto a warm baking sheet from a previous batch, the dough starts melting immediately. Always let your pans cool completely between batches or rotate between two pans. You can see here a cookie baked on a hot cookie sheet versus a cool sheet. The cookie on the hot baking sheet spreads significantly more. And what you line your pan with matters too. Silicone baking mats tend to encourage more spreading because they trap heat and reduce friction. Parchment paper usually gives cookies a little more grip, which helps them hold their shape better. Another thing that can affect how much your cookies spread is the color of your baking sheet. Darker colored baking sheets absorb and hold on to heat more than lighter colored ones. That means cookies on dark pans start baking and melting faster from the bottom. When the butter melts quickly before the rest of the cookie has time to set, that can lead to extra spreading and sometimes overly browned bottoms. Lighter colored or aluminum baking sheets reflect heat more evenly, which helps the cookies set at a more controlled pace. That usually gives you more even spread, better structure, and more consistent results. If you're using dark pans, it doesn't mean you need to throw them out. Just be aware that you may need to reduce the oven temperature slightly or keep a closer eye on the baking time to prevent excessive spreading and over browning. Reason number 7, the shape of your cookies. Another thing I see a lot is that dough's been flattened too much or they're too small. Short, wide dough cookie balls spread faster than taller ones. If you want thicker cookies, keep your dough balls tall and don't press them down unless the recipe specifically tells you to. For best results, use a cookie scoop so they are even size and bake evenly as well. If you really want to go nuts, you can weigh each cookie dough ball. Yes, I do weigh my cookie dough, so if you do this, you might be called a little crazy, but you'll be in good company. Reason number 8, your leavening agents. Leavening can also affect the spread. Too much baking soda encourages spreading, while baking powder gives more lift. And if your leavening is old, it won't work properly, which can throw off the structure of the cookie. I like to test my baking powder with a little hot water and baking soda with a little vinegar to make sure that they bubble. Reason number 9, your mix-ins. Yes, those chocolate chips do serve a purpose more than just yummy goodness. Those chocolate chips are actually helping your cookies from spreading. You can see here a plain cookie with no chips, with one that has chips, and you can see just how much a cookie spreads without them. Of course, if you're adding other things to your dough, just be careful. Their high fat or high moisture ingredients can make your cookies spread a bit more. And one quick tip for really thick cookies, use chopped chocolate. Now the good news is though, flat cookies are almost always fixable. Once you understand why cookies spread, troubleshooting becomes much easier and a lot less frustrating. So here are 2 quick ways to fix your cookies if after baking you found that they did spread too much. You can use what I call the cookie cutter trick. Take a round cookie cutter or even a glass or coffee mug that's slightly larger than the cookie, place it over the cookie and gently swirl it in a circular motion. This pushes the edges inward and helps reshape the cookie into a thicker, more even circle. You can also use a spoon to gently nudge the edges towards the center while the cookies are still soft. Now, once they cool completely, they'll set in that shape. It can make a big difference in how the cookies look. It's a great rescue move to know, and honestly, I use it more often than people realize. I actually showed my mom this trick and she goes, "Oh, that's cheating." Now, if you want a deeper breakdown, I have a full post on why cookies spread too much, and I'll link that below. And if this video helped, be sure to check out my other videos in this How to Bake Better Cookies series. We talk a lot about texture and technique and how to get consistent results every time. And until next time, happy baking.